Hey, welcome to ProductPinion A to Z tutorial. In this video, you're going to see how to use all the parts of ProductPinion. We're going to explain it to you step by step. Now, ProductPinion is a software that helps you understand what your buyers on Amazon actually want, and then you can base your listing optimization on what they're saying to you. So you can have like different videos that people send to you where they can look in your listings and give you feedback. You can A/B test things. Pretty cool software. I'm using it myself, and I'm really excited to have Matt from ProductPinion today with me to show you all the parts. So if you're like not understanding something, how to use it, we're gonna cover it. All the timestamps for all the parts are gonna be in the description of the video for you, and of course a special discount for ProductPinion as well that grants you some bonuses, and that's all linked down in the description. Matt, welcome, man. How are you today? Can you
Thank you.
introduce
I'm doing
yourself,
good.
man?
Yeah, so I'm Matt. So I'm a co-founder of ProductPinion, and yeah, happy to kind of show you around and show you the ropes of how to get the best bang for your buck when you're using the software.
Yeah, let's go, man. Let's do it. So we're inside ProductPinion now. So we're gonna go through the dashboard here, through all the parts. Also, we're gonna talk about the pricing in the end. And if you have questions, then just drop comments. We're gonna get back to you. So yeah, man.
Very cool. Yeah. So this is what it looks like when you're inside of the app itself. So this is the dashboard. On the dashboard, you'll get to see how many credits that you have. So there's two main types of credits. So for example, there's Pinion Poll credits. Each Pinion Poll credit is like a vote from a person. So if you have 100 credits, you can ask 100 people, their opinion on certain options. Now, the interesting part is, like, say if you have 100 credits, but you want to do 2 experiments, you can easily divide those. You can say 50 for this experiment, 50 for the other experiment. It's up to you how you want to divide your credits. I mean, we have some customers that do 500 at once, right? Just depending on what it is that you're testing and what kind of result that you are looking for. There's video credits. So these are individual. Each video credit is basically one person doing that video screencast recording of, looking over either a competitor's listing, your listing, Amazon search results. We'll go into the specifics of what Pinion videos are in a moment, but just so you know, this is where on the dashboard you'll see how many credits that you have available.
Mm-hmm.
And in this main box up here, you'll get suggestions of what to try, right? So try a Pinion playbook, try a Pinion poll, that sort of thing. You'll see that this changes actually as you go. The next part on the dashboard here are the playbooks. So the playbooks are basically predefined tests that we've done ourselves for our Amazon businesses that have given us really good results. Now, what's interesting with these playbooks is that you can change them to suit your needs. So even though they're templates, you can go in there. They're kind of like blueprints, but you can go in there and change them as you see fit for your particular product. We have a bunch for whole playbooks. So again, these are the A/B split testing. So if you're testing an image, if you're testing a product design, a headline, bullet points, brand names, or even something completely custom, you can do that. We also actually have a playbook that we'll be adding to this list shortly too, called Amazon Contextual Testing, where we'll take your products, you can import them from Amazon, import by ASIN, and then we'll actually emulate an Amazon search page to get people to click as if they're on Amazon. And the reason why that's important is because you're getting better context, you're getting better results, and you can also control for variables like the number of reviews, pricing, and that sort of thing. So that's super cool, and we'll show you that in a moment as well. For video playbooks, there's a ton of things that you can ask people and get those screencast recordings on. Some of the more interesting ones are doing competitor research. So you can actually ask people to take a look at Amazon search results for your particular category of product and ask them, hey, which one would you click into? And what could be improved and that sort of thing. There's listing optimization. So you can actually ask specific things about your particular listing that you want answered. There's a product demand test. You can get people to look at a particular competitor and just see if there's, and ask questions related to if it looks like it's a market that you want to get into. Objection handling is one of my favorite. So basically you just ask people, why wouldn't you buy this? And you get a lot of good feedback on, what's stopping people. What are the objections that you need to overcome in your listing to get people to convert? I also love asking, like, do you trust this brand? So a lot of people know that they have to create their own brand, but is it created to the point where people actually trust it, that it looks like it's a brand that they want to do business with. And of course, you can do a custom test as well. Once you have some tests already in the bank, then you'll have your previous ones listed here so you can reference them when you need to reference them. So that's the main kind of dashboard homepage area.
And Matt, what's the database of knowledge also? Like that's what we see under it, like database of knowledge is this part, right?
Yeah, so this is basically just so it'll just take you basically to your test. Yeah, it's just a quick link for that. It's basically just reminding you ProductPinion's your database of knowledge. This is where you're saving all your qualitative and quantitative testing for your particular brand or brands.
Got it.
So another area that you want to see is over here. So if you click your name, basically here, this is where you can change your plan. You can add more credits, very straightforward. It might change a little bit. We are doing something where the account will probably, my account will be on this side. There'll be different options for the accounts, but just so you know that it is available up there where your name should appear. So with that being said, we can go over to the first type of test, which is a Pinion poll. So I'll show you first actually previous tests just to see what it kind of looks like when you get results in. So when you get results, basically in this case, you set up a test where you ask people, which logo do you prefer? And in this case, the two options we were testing were just this. What's interesting, this particular one was almost ready to go to print. And then last minute, hey, let's test something else. And turns out we got a much better option with this particular logo. So in this case, you'll see we asked, I think it was just 50 people. If you're testing something very different, 50 people is good. In general, it's good to do at least 100 per test, but you can get a feel for, depending on your level of how much, statistical significance you want to use to move forward with whichever option. So in this instance, what I like to say, like in science, typically they'll use like 98% certainty. For marketing purposes, you can use say 80% certainty that one option is better than the next, but that does mean there's still a 20% chance that the results you got were just by chance. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your certainty scores there.
But certainty score comes from the customer that he has an option to say, I'm 100% certain or I'm 90% certain, or how do you calculate that?
That's a really good question. So there's some like fancy math that goes on behind the scenes where your certainty score is based on the number of participants and the number of options that you have. So it's fairly easy to calculate when there's just two options. There's just a formula to test. And the certainty is basically like, the more people you ask, the more likely your certainty will be better. So it's, for example, if you ask 1,000 people and you got this result, it is very, very likely that, this logo is better. In this case, there was very dramatic results. So like, 45 people versus 8 people chose this particular logo. So in our case, we're going to call it at 100% because that's pretty good. But the certainty actually comes from a math formula where it's just calculating like how likely is it that if we reproduce this test that, the results would be as such. So yeah, the certainty comes from some fancy math behind the scenes.
Got it, man.
Cool. So then you also get feedback as well. So some, one sentence responses on why they chose which one that they chose. You can change these by age range, seeing how it differentiates. I don't think anyone in that age range was using it, but otherwise, yeah, you can sort and filter, slice and dice. The other cool thing that you can do with Pinion Polls is that you can actually ask your own audience for their opinion as well. So this is super cool because it does a whole bunch of things. Like number one, you're involving your own audience, if you have your own audience in the development of your brand, and that inherently makes them more loyal to you.
Yes.
So when you do another product or you launch the product that they had input on choosing, they're going to buy it. Yes. This is why Kickstarter works so well. And you can implement this in your Amazon business very, very easily. On top of that, we've also implemented a thing where once they give you the result, you can actually pipe them to Amazon, to Shopify, wherever you want to pipe them with a discount code as a reward for participating. So now not only are you winning because it's an excuse to keep in touch with your customers. So you're touching base with your customer base. Your customer base feels more loyal and more attached to you because you're getting their feedback. But then third thing is you're also making money because a number of customers who will give you that feedback would be like, yeah, I'm down to buy something else. This is cool. I'll buy from you. So very like it's a win-win-win scenario that you really should be doing in your Amazon business, especially if you have your own audience to work with.
I want to mention it doesn't cost money as well. It's for free.
Yeah. So for yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's free. Yeah. If you're a subscriber to ProductPinion, we don't charge anything extra for it because it's your own audience. Yeah, it's nice. Something that you should be using on a regular basis. I can show you really quick. Yeah, this is what your participant will see. So what is it that you'll be doing? You'll be choosing an option. Super easy. We promise. It really is easy. You can also, by the way, I should mention that you can ask people for their demographics. So some people don't even know who their own audience is. Right. So you collect email addresses on Amazon from your insert cards or from, whatever method that you're doing. If you want to know what your demographic is, you can actually collect it through this Pinion poll as well. So you can see how we turned that on and this just got changed. So now what will they be doing? They'll be answering some stuff about demographics. It's anonymous, right? We don't save emails or anything like that, and then choose an option. So in this case, we'll get their demographics first and then move on to the option. For simplicity, let's turn that off. And I like how this changes dynamically. That's pretty cool. So now that we turned it off, we got rid of that step. And in this case, they can just literally pick whichever one they want. We prompt them to type at least 30 characters or so, because if it's too short, then it's not as useful.
Good idea, yes.
Okay, so then perfect, submit, that's it. So we didn't actually put anything in the promotional area here, but if we did, here's where there could be a link to, back to Amazon, whatever you want to use, whatever URL you want to use, and with whatever discount you want to offer for them doing it too. So they can do that. And then what you'll see in the results, if we isolate the source to public, we should see, there's some that we were playing with and testing previously, but I think this was one that we did, or one of these was, or actually, let me hit refresh. Let's see if, I don't think those are the ones.
Maybe it's the last one, or maybe we're going to get the fifth one. I'm not sure. I think that's the last one we typed in.
I think it was. Yeah. I think that was mine. Yeah.
But definitely not the.
No, we didn't do that one. Yeah, this was just from another.
I usually test stuff like when you have to type in something that's.
Yeah, it's like, what do I type? I'm just gonna put rage type something in there, right? Yeah,
that's cool, man. Yeah. Very cool.
So that's pretty cool. So
we've seen previous tests, like what we have already done, plus we've seen what the customer sees. So we can call it the customer or the one who participates in the poll. That's about previous tests here, right?
Yeah, so that's previous tests. And to set up a new test, again, fairly straightforward. So in this case, you can choose which type of test. We can do actually a very easy one. And then I also want to show you the contextual test. And actually, Vova, maybe you can help me out. If you can give me in the chat, just find a couple, 2 or 3 ASINs for any product that you want. So I'll explain this one. And then if in the chat, you can give me like 2 or 3 ASINs of literally any product on Amazon. And then we'll use that for the contextual poll coming right up. In the meantime, so basically, so you can choose, what is, any kind of test that you want to do. In this case, we'll do a headline, which headline will get more clicks, enter your category. And keep in mind, this first step is just internal. So no one actually sees this except yourself. This is just for your purposes of organizing, because once you get using this, you'll probably run a whole bunch of experiments. We have some agencies, for example, that will use a ASIN even for the product name or category name. It's just to keep things organized. So here we could say, what type of product are you thinking? Actually, for this case, sorry, I take that back. Don't worry about that. So in this case, we can put whatever product name. So say if we're doing shower caps, we used that example just before, so why not? And then what are you hoping to learn by running this test? So this is just helping you keep tabs on, your hypothesis. Like, what is it that you're trying to figure out when you're doing a test?
So I wrote a few ASINs inside, like it's, but this kitchen knife, actually, the product is a bit different than it shows, but they're okay. Okay,
yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so we'll use those for the next contextual test. So in this instance, so we're doing a headline, so we just switch it over to text. You see the following headlines, which one you most click on and why. So here's where you put, your option A, B, you hit next. You put in, how many people do you want? So in this instance, it says we only have 20. We could, we put in 20. You put your basic demographics. Something else to note is there's advanced demographics as well. By the time you're watching this video, you'll see the advanced demographics where you can select, like, do you have pets? Do you take nutritional supplements? You'll have all those extra demographics criteria that you can, and interest, lifestyle, do you have kids, that sort of thing will all be available for you as well. Then you hit next, and that's it. You're good to go. You can literally launch this and you get results within minutes. Will start coming up. So what I also want to show you, because this one's very unique, is a contextual test. An Amazon contextual poll. This is where you can emulate a search result page that looks like Amazon, but it's not actually Amazon, and you can control for some variables. So in this case, we are doing knives, I believe. And what we'll do here, because it can take a few seconds for the ASINs to load, but for example, you can pull your competitors' ASINs into here. The other interesting thing is, if you don't have your product up yet, and you're just looking to launch something, you can actually click manually add product, and you'll be able to actually you can put your main image, you can put in a title, and it'll make it look like you already have an Amazon listing before you actually have your Amazon listing. So you're basically seeing what the result will be before you invest in, a sample or anything to even make the listing, which is pretty cool. The other thing that you can do is, like I mentioned, you can control for some variables. So in this case, you can hide the star rating, you can show the reviews, show the price. You can even go in here and see, in this case, a lot of people will click based on, here's the secret sauce. If you have like a higher priced item and more people are still clicking your item when they see other ones that are cheaper. So for example, if you could get all the clicks, you're at $80 and you're getting all the clicks, even though there's a $44 option there, you're winning. Like that's amazing, right? But you can also do something like either just not show the price, or for example, if you want to see different impacts of what the price would have, you can actually go in there. And even though we imported the price from Amazon, we can actually like change it to whatever we want, right? Which, you can have fun with this. You can do a whole bunch of different experiments based on, your specific criteria. We want to give you the controls. You're in the driver's seat of figuring out how you want to do it. And once you do this, you get a page that looks more or less like Amazon. So when you're asking people which one to click, they're more in a familiar territory. It's more contextual. Yes. Something else I want to mention as well, we always randomize the order as well. So for every single person, it gets shifted. So there's no bias, because, people just usually click the first thing that they see. So we do that as well. And then in terms of the rest of the setup, it's the same like you just saw before. Nothing new there. So yeah,
so people will get to that page and they'll do that sort of Amazon to this page, right? And each person will get different. Maybe you have we have 3 here, and we can test up to 5, I think, or there's no limit, or
this one we do limit it to 6, I believe. 6. 3 more, yeah. So you can do up to 6. And keep in mind, if you're doing 6 options, then in terms of the number of Pinion Poll credits, you'll probably want to do like a couple hundred at a minimum, because more options just means that it's harder to get, which is the specific one that you want to see as a winner. Yeah.
Pretty cool. So we can test reviews, titles, and price here, right? 3
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's Pinion Polls. And obviously, you saw before, you can also test the traditional way of just like image versus image, headline versus headline, and you can ask as many people as you want per experiment. And to add more credits, this will just pop out here. So at any time, so every month, you'll get a certain number of credits. But if you're doing a lot more testing, or you're doing a launch and you need more credits, you can add more any time throughout the subscription. Not a problem, obviously.
Cool.
And then the next type of test is called Pinion Videos. So Pinion Videos, we kind of touched on it earlier, but basically it's a screencast recording of an Amazon shopper actually interacting with any URL. The other thing I wanted to mention is, obviously we're very specific to Amazon, but as we have customers using the tool, they're actually sending people to not just Amazon links. You could actually send them. We had one person send them to like a Dropbox folder that had schematics of a potential product that they were going to manufacture. So how cool is that? You can actually show people, what you're working on and get feedback just from that. Obviously, you can send them to Shopify. You can send them to literally any URL and get feedback, real feedback, contextual feedback. You can hear. And what's so important about it being recorded versus just typed, like when you hear somebody speaking, you get to understand like how, enthusiastic they are about something, or if it matters or if it doesn't matter. Like context is everything when you're doing this type of research. With Pinion videos, again, we have these playbooks that you can test. These are the previous ones. So we can dive into what it looks like here. So here's your hypothesis. What is it that you're trying to test? What are you trying to learn, basically? In this case, we did 10 of them. I'm trying to see, there's some interesting ones here that, oh, this was an interesting one. So for example, in this particular video, let's see if we can play it quick.
I'm opening the test. Okay, looking at the search results, which product would you click? I would click, scroll down.
So she's looking.
I would pick We Love Eyes Tea Tree Eyelid Foaming Cleanser because it's vegan, cruelty-free, which is very important.
So this was huge. Multiple people actually said this, right? So the product that, like our product in this case, is Hydrate. She completely looked over any of the products. She looked over the sponsored. She went specifically to the one just because it said it was vegan and cruelty-free. Wow, right? And it wasn't even just one person doing this. We actually had like 2 or 3 people doing it, so that it's like how when you're doing keyword research, you would never find like vegan and cruelty-free as a high ranking keyword. But in this case, when you're getting context, you're like, oh my gosh, I should probably add that to my listing because that's why this particular product is taking my sales away from me. So just super cool insights that you can get by running one of these. And to actually do one, again, very simple setup. So the first, go ahead, Vova.
Wanted to say that we can also, when we're watching the videos, we have this section down there to write down what people are saying.
Absolutely.
It was key takeaway lessons. So as it's here, like picked We Love Eyes because it's vegan, cruelty free. We write this down, then afterwards we can sort of quickly, because we might forget tomorrow, right? What this lady was saying. So we write this down, and just wanted to mention that. That's really helpful too.
Yeah, really, really good point. Yeah, so we made a little area there that you can take some quick notes, some big, things. And then it also lets you reference, if you want to play that video back and just see what's going on, you'll know which one to play with. We also tried, just as a small UI thing, like we rotate the background, because sometimes you actually know which video, like, oh yeah, it was the pink video that had this or that sort of thing. So little nuances in the UX that we tried to make it a little bit easier.
And what's that on the right there? We have like a V, we have little favorite flag. Is that like?
Yeah, right on. So basically you can actually, that's a good point. I forgot to mention that on the polls. So you can hide a response. So say, for example, the response was okay, but they misinterpreted something. I feel like that's more useful on the polls. So you just kind of eliminate the ones that it's a valid response. However, they didn't understand something. So it shouldn't be part of my data set. So you can remove that. Starring it, basically, it marks it as a favorite. It also will actually give a little extra reward to the tester. So for example, if they did a really good job and you're like, wow, I like how they did this, it's just a way to kind of, give them a little bonus. And then the flag is basically like, hey, sometimes people are not having a good day. They're having an off day. The video gets not very useful. So you flag it, and then we'll give you the credit back. And we'll take care of you on that instance, because again, keep in mind, we're dealing with people. People, there's a lot of variability. So we wanted to build in the options to make sure that, to account for some of that might happen. But great question. I appreciate you asking that.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks for explaining. All right. And there's the new test, right? We can actually see how we set it up, right?
Yeah, totally. So for a new Pinion video test, it looks very similar to the poll. So the first page is essentially internal. So in this instance, you're just, switching which playbook you want to use. And then essentially, again, you put in the, whatever category you want to use. And what happens with the playbook, it changes the actual questions that are that are being asked. So again, you can modify these questions as you see fit, completely, contextual. You can even ask people to perform actions. So for example, we had some people, you want to add something to the cart. They want to test if a coupon code is working, that type of stuff. You can actually ask people to do that. They will see these questions on screen at the same time as seeing your Amazon page. So these questions never disappear or anything like that. They'll be able to reference them, no problem. The first thing that they'll do is they'll read something out loud. We ask people to read the context out loud, because when people read stuff out loud, one, it shows you that they're actually, you know, paying attention, and two, they kind of remember it a little bit better. So here you're just giving them some context of what they'll be looking at. Next, you throw in a URL. You can use any, like I mentioned, any URL you want. Doesn't have to be Amazon. If you're doing, in this case, I think we are doing Amazon search results. So in this case, you'd want to put a URL that has the keyword in it, which is pretty straightforward. Actually, for now, let's actually do it so we can move on to the next. Let me grab that keyword. Second. So it looks in an Amazon keyword URL just looks something like that. So they'll be taken to a search result page. And then, yeah, you can actually keep these questions or change them as you see fit. You hit next, same idea. How many respondents do you want? And select the demographics, and then you're off to the races with it. Something else I can show you is, you know, the different, like one of my favorite ones is this listing objection one. So we just put in the category, and you can see that the questions are a little bit different. So what might stop someone from buying the product? How could the product be made better? Do you trust the brand? Why or why not? That's a key question. I really like to see the insights that come out from that. And what I like about this question, how could this product be made better? This question was life-changing for me. So back in the day before, you know, I was doing user tests on my products just because I worked in software, and user testing is standard for software. And the amount of insights that I get from people by just throwing my Amazon listing up and asking people, it was great. It was amazing. One person actually gave me the idea to change my product. And that idea was so good. Ended up getting, you know, applying for a patent for it. And it actually made my product stand out versus all of the other ones. And I'm in a very generic niche. Like like there's tens of thousands of the same bloody product. But having that little idea that came from a shopper actually changed the trajectory of that particular product, and the sales from it came from that change. So you never know what you can actually get when you start asking and getting feedback from shoppers. And I'd say, you know, try it out. You'll be pleasantly surprised with it.
Nice, man. I would also say something, Matt. Maybe it's just what I think, but
yeah,
I would say, like, first, it's pretty cool that you have these questions automatically set. So maybe if somebody's like not sure what to do, you have this for them. So it really eases the process, saves time, saves thinking. We can, of course, change that. But I would say for question one, just my thought, like it says, what might stop someone from buying this product? Maybe it could be better. Maybe you. Yeah, you got it. Because maybe then I'll be thinking, oh, someone, my mom, someone might, you know, maybe so, and you, maybe it's like you. Just a little idea. I don't know, maybe it's.
Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, you can change it up. And what ends up happening too is people will talk, because say, for example, the product is not necessarily something they would buy. So if they put themselves into someone that might, but you're right. And what ends up happening is they do talk about, I mean, people like talking about themselves, their preferences. So if it is something that they might change it, but I agree. Yeah, you can change that up and see how that affects it as well. That's a good point.
All right. So that's the new test we were looking at, right?
That's the previous new test. Yeah, so at previous tests, they're listed here, so you'll see them. And then again, add more credits, just pops up the same thing here. And here's where you can put video credits or poll credits. Poll credits, you buy them in a pack of 100. So if you put one there, that means you're getting 100 credits. And then video credits are each. So if you get 10, that's 10 people responding to you with a video. Yeah.
And then we have knowledge base. Like generally we went through the main part of Product Opinion itself. Of course, if anyone has any questions, ask them down below. There's a special code also, actually like a link in the description that grants bonuses when you sign up. But also we have the help section there. I would say that on the right lower side, we have a little window that allows us to talk with the support. So in case we can't understand something or there's a little problem we're having, we can reach out, right, to you guys.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Send us a message and we'll help you out.
We can even add a picture there, I see, which is really cool. Maybe we can, you know, for those who are having some issue, maybe you can screenshot, do a little arrow and say, hey, that really helps you guys in Product Opinion handle it better, right? And then, right, so that's for this. And there's the knowledge base and help desk on the left, man. What is that? Matt?
Yeah, so we're working on that a little bit. So help desk is basically this as well. And then the knowledge base is just something we're working on. We're putting in there like how to, you know, step by step, how to use Product Opinion and some examples, that sort of thing will all be in the knowledge base there.
All right, pretty cool, man. And another thing that people are asking a lot is the pricing. Like, so, oh yeah, that sounds cool, but how do I pay for that? What? And of course, that might change, and like many things might change. But yeah, for now, let's see what's up. Yeah.
Yeah, so for the pricing, so we try to keep it super simple. So if you're already selling on Amazon, most people fall into the brand category. So it's $100 a month, and you get every month 100 credits for Pinion Polls, and you also get 5 Pinion video credits every single month. They never expire, so they'll roll over month to month. So 1 month you're doing, I mean, you should be doing a test at least once a month if you want to move the needle on the listing. Some months you might do more, some months you might do less, but the credits never actually expire. If you want extra responses, we charge 50 cents. So for example, for 100 more responses, you'll only pay $50 for them. And every Pinion video, if you want more feedback, it's $5. This is in comparison to, like, if you try user testing with, there's actually usertesting.com. They charge at least $50 per feedback that is received. Wow. I actually used to use them back in the software days quite a bit. They're more like enterprise level, but we have had some customers come from them being like, hey, you offer more features and you're like 1/10 of the price, sold, right? So we do offer that. And that's where you can also use your own audience. So for example, if you want to poll your own audience, you can do that. And we do have somebody to help you out where basically if you want ideas of what to be testing and just a second look at how you're setting up your experiments, we can do that for you and we'll be there. With the starter plan, for example, it is basically if you're just getting started, obviously, like you don't have the product yet, or you literally just launched, and it's a little bit less that you get per month. And then obviously on the agency side, so if you have a ton of products or you're serving other customers, the agency plan's interesting because then you can charge more. You can tell your customers like, hey, I'll be doing 2-3 different variations. I'll be testing it with ProductPinion, and it's just an extra value add that you can offer to your clients when you're doing that. So yeah, that's the pricing that it is today. Like obviously, if you sign up, you get grandfathered into whatever pricing that you're in. But as we go, yeah, the pricing will always change, and we'll be slowly but surely increasing the pricing. But for what it is today, you're grandfathered into it.
I think it's a fair price, man, for what you get. Again, I've used it myself. I mean, it gives you a lot of insight for really fair price, and on demand, you can add more credits for posts, for videos. I really, like, honestly, for myself, I really found the videos helpful. And they're really like affordable, like $5 per video, man. Like, come on, that's really nice. You get like, it's about 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes videos that based on what you ask. You can ask 1 question, 3, right? We saw it beforehand. So I think it's pretty cool. We're going to have, again, the link to a special deal with the ProductPinion. Also with time, maybe you're watching this a year from now, I'll try to get the best deal for you, the viewer. So hopefully, yeah. Currently, it grants you like extra credits, so you can get more with what you are getting. So pretty cool. You get a free trial plus these bonus credits. So I do recommend you trying it out. We are going to have also in the description more videos connected to ProductPinion. Another video with Matt, another video with Andre, who is another co-founder, to see more ideas for user experience and improving your user experience so you can get more sales, grow your business, grow your brand, get more money, hopefully. And hopefully everyone's going to be happy. Matt, thank you for today, man.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Fun.
It's been a blast.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you.